Today's edition of Video Pivot and Pitch, sponsored by Bank of America, is going to feature Augusta Podcast. Thanks to Bank of America for being such a great supporter of the Chamber and specifically this program. Today, David Bash is joining us again with Augusta Podcasts. Hey, David, how you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Sure. So tell us how Augusta Podcasts has pivoted operations during COVID.
Right. So the first thing I'll talk about is like what we do and kind of how that pivot happened. But when we originally opened a studio in Augusta, the idea was for our own show, Drop the Disc, we were just going to have a more convenient logistical way to do our show. After a little while of having a studio and really kind of focusing on high quality sound outputs and that kind of boring stuff, we decided to open it up. And then pretty much immediately after we opened up and started accepting recordings, that was probably February, March of this year. And so for that timeline perspective, we really didn't even get much of a chance to launch our business as we originally had wanted to do it. And so because of COVID and the stuff we were noticing, people are wanting to have home productions more, but they're less willing to do them in studios, and they want to kind of control and manage everything on their own. And so we pivoted from being more of a real estate studio where you have to go in to do business with us to more of a tech landscape. And you see me at home right now. What we've really pivoted to is consultations, home studio setup. I'm in a little home studio right now with a mic that we actually recommend to people to buy if they want to produce their own podcasts at home. And so we've really just emphasized that. How can we help virtually? Whether it's you're doing a podcast over Zoom and you want it to sound like it's in person, or whether you want to create a home studio because you don't want to pay for a studio, you want to make sure that you're in a controlled environment. And that's what we want to be helping people with.
Yes, I was thinking as we were talking about doing this video, it's kind of the world that you operate and live in. So a pro, I'm sure you could give us a few tips. Tell us what changes you've undergone, the changes that you've implemented. What of those do you foresee continuing into the future, or any additional changes that will be made as we move into a new normal?
So the cool thing for us is honestly, like, I think that the business plan that we've set up because of COVID is really going to be our business plan going forward. I mean, when we look at the world and we look at how connected people are and how people all around the world want to, I mean, our show, Drop the Disc, is in Augusta. We talk to locals in Augusta. It's hyper local, and it's just us communicating things that we're really interested in. And that's what we see more of, not just in the Augusta community, but probably in the national and international community. And what we want to do is put Augusta on the map as a place that has people who have technology, the know-how, and the mindset in order to produce podcasts from anywhere. So our focus is really to build our virtual presence, which is all because of COVID. And we're really going to be pressing on for that after COVID, through COVID. That's really going to be our new defining business model. And I think it's good for us.
Well, sounds like you're positioned to come out of this well, and we appreciate what you do to promote Augusta and be an important community member and supporter of the Chamber. What is a specific success story that you can share with everyone today to really just provide some inspiration?
So I'm going to kind of half answer the question.
Okay.
We are right now working on launching the first major podcast under our network, hosted by somebody that's not us, that wants to do all the things that a general podcast wants to do. And when I say that, I mean, it's not like a marketing for somebody's company. It's not, it's a podcast that somebody wants to grow around the city of Augusta. And that's a podcast called Make Startups. Eric Parker with the Clubhouse is working with us to start that podcast. We've produced one episode with him already with Congressman Rick Allen, and a lot of entrepreneurs that are members of the Chamber. Chris Crozier, for example, is from Mobile Mentors, makes an appearance on that podcast. And we really want to set the tone for really telling people that innovation is coming out of Augusta with that. And Make Startups is a podcast I'm really excited about because even the podcast that we do in-house, and that's really Drop the Dis, that's for the city of Augusta. We understand that, and we want that. But we also want people in Augusta to know that they can talk to any audience, and that can be local or national. And so I'm excited that we're starting really from scratch, working with the clubhouse to make startups out. And I'm excited that we're hopefully showing people that people in Augusta can talk to anybody, and our city is nationally relevant. And at the end of the day, when you look at Augusta Podcasts, there it is. When you look at Augusta Podcasts, we want people to associate our city with cyber, with growth, and with digital.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for what you're doing. That's truly amazing. I think if there's one overarching theme that's come from these videos is that local Augusta businesses have been able to take on a national and international presence. So our businesses are doing it and our entrepreneurs are doing that and expanding their reach through technology. How much more important is it to also have our city positioned as such nationally and internationally? So great job. We're so appreciative of the work that you're doing and your efforts. And thank you for your support of the chamber. It was great visiting with you today.
Thank you. And can I really quickly, I want to say thank you to Chris Napples, because Chris Napples is my co-founder and co-owner. He's our marketing chair. I do all of our production, but without Chris, we definitely wouldn't be where we are. Chris is an equal owner to me. He just couldn't be here today. And I want to thank Demure Marketing, which is Rachel Furtick, and they contract with us to do digital marketing for our clients. And I just wanted to make sure I got to plug both of those people, because without them, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Well, duly noted. Shout out to your partners, and we appreciate, again, all that you're doing. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.